let me throw the ball to Ramon. Nilikuwa na watch podcast inaitwa Manspective. Yes. Inafanywa na jamaa anaitwa Chlitondovu. I forget the other guy. And they had invited Jemule Mse. Tunajua Jemule Mse si wote. And akaulizwa hiyo swali bado ya spaces. What Jemo said, if I got him right, ako like spaces ziko, but sisi wanaume tume-infiltrate hizo spaces, making it uncomfortable for ourselves. Yes. The example is, to agree hapa sisi, Josh, Jake, na wenye tuko hapa, to meet kawa wanaume to have kambuzi, maybe that's the moment na feel, I have something Ramon taeza kukuambia. Yeah. But guess what? Unakuja na tudem. Sijui Josh anafanya nini. Yeah. It becomes so unconducive for even me to tell you what I was to tell you. Yes. So inabidi tunapiga tu sherehe afu tuende home. Is it really the case?
It's the case. Well, like for example, in my case, I had to force these spaces. You know, I grab the men I'm always around with, the men that I'm maybe working with, or we are into music together. Because we're always together, doing our business or whatsoever. After that, nawaita, nawambia we have, because we are together and we are growing together, tuna make money. So why can't we be focused? Because there are other issues apart from making money. Mbona tusiongelele hizi issues so that we grow to see, we use this word, this saying, let no man be left behind.
The military style.
Exactly. So hatuwezi songa mbele if one of ours has a problem. And the only way to be able to recognize that problem is to talk it out. You have to force these things out. Me, when I sit with my boys, I start because they see me as a leader. So me, naanza tu kuropokwa my issues. I don't care whether you have the solution or not. I just need to get off my chest. And funny thing, kwa hizo two stories, I get a solution. I get an idea. I'm like, wow, kama singefanya hii kitu, where would I have gotten this, you know? It is up to us men to force it down our throats.
Talking is therapy. Maybe for me to have the confidence to begin this show, it took a lot of hata maombi tuseme. Because nilikuwa najiuliza wataniona aje. Kuna watu wa church, I go to church, wataniona aje nikisema myself deep down. Family itaniona aje. But until, as you're saying, you force it out, you have to do it. Hakuna mtu mwingine anakuja kusave. And talking of church, Keriamete, have we left this fight ya ku salvage the man to the church? And at some point, church inatuambia tutaenda heaven, which is okay. And we support it very much. But our stay up on earth, ni kama wewe uko kwa hii journey ya heaven, they don't care about you.
Let me say the church cares. I happen to be among the very first people who pioneered the main movement in our church. It's called His Image Ministry. And
oh wow, we are created in the image of God. His Image Ministry. So, that's a smart one.
And the observation is, yes, the church is there. It is doing something, but it is like more like an afterthought after seeing the consequences of how things have been.
Co-curricular activity.
It's like co-curricular, because if you look at the few churches, like the Anglican Church.
Yes.
Even today, if you hear the weight of the two movements, the Martha's Union and Kama.
Yes.
In fact, now there is even the Anglican Women Association, which now covers initially mother and an entry point. Now this other one covers for everyone. unaona. But for kama, it's still kama. You still have to probably have gotten married through a wedding or something like that. But for these other guys now, ni kama mkiapisha tunaapisha. Initially there was like a level grant for the mothers union and this other person. But now we now have the Anglican Women Association.
Actually,
it covers for all the women.
Another day tukiwa church, their leader said our WhatsApp group needs to be as full as these church ladies in this church. They don't care about marriage. They don't care. Kuna mtu ashaniambia church is like a hospital for the sick who are sick kwa heart. Wakuchukue ulivyo, then they tend you. But now look at us kama kuna uto to standard bado.
They actually standard. Look at the uniform alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you just go to the uniform alone, you know, getting that suit, getting that shirt,
Na tie red.
that tie and that clip over here. I mean, it's not a budget entry.
Yes.
So you find many people will rather stay.
Shy
So
away.
the church, currently the church is making a few efforts to try to salvage the man. However, I want to say it's not really enough. Because it's like we are picking up a race when these other people have done several
Miles ahead.
and we are doing it because we have now seen the danger of how we have been living. You take a choir, for example. You were at home the other day. You saw an all-women choir.
Yeah, I did the MC had to say, where
Yes,
are the men?
And the woman is actually trying to sing bass.
Yeah.
Yesterday they had gathered at a certain place also to prepare for a certain event on Sunday. Again, it was all women and a woman is trying to do bass. So it is as a result of now the church observing things are going south. That's when they are trying to make an effort, to salvage men. And I will say it's not really enough. Because some of it, funny enough, is actually being championed
By the woman. But that's a challenge to us anyway. That's a challenge. So one thing mimi utaka kusema, I left church nikiwa high school for my own biased opinion. Nilikuwa a certain Pentecost church hapo. And one thing that made me leave was, I apologize, see it in attack, it's the preacher decided to preach me direct. Hiyo wakati unajua uko na adolescence, tunadai tunywele, tunavaa tu trouser tu tight. So he would preach us directly. Nani church kidogo ya ushago. So it made me very uncomfortable every time nikatoka. But now later in life, after life imenipiga tu vizuri. Mimi mwenyewe nimejirudisha church because of one thing, that community aspect.
Yes.
Na nikajiuliza hizi idea nani atazitoa. Like now, as you have said, kwetu sahi kuna men fellowship yenye tunaendanga tunaibiriwa nini, then mahubiri inaisha. Then now we speak. Unasikia mzee wa 80 years akikupea experience yake. Akikwambia amepandwa meno kwa sababu revenge ya bibi. Do you know these people can take years to revenge?
I know.
Ulikuwa unampiga hiyo time ukiwa wadogo, akakungoja ukatoka meno. Getheri daily. So it's good to have such a community. Na hata wase wa Keriari ndio walikuwa wananiambia they try even to face your family, whether it's your kids nini, na wana try kuongea na wao so that kukuwe na harmony. That balance. Now Ramon, nataka uongeleshe mse ameingia kwa relationship na ndio ameanza kuwa serious.
Yes.
Na maybe expecting a child na nini.
Yes.
What is this that he should look for? Ama look out for? Ama be able to understand? Ndio hii life isianze kumpiga stress na hata bola ijamaliza 3 months.
Yes, okay. Let me try to talk to the men of God, the young men of God. Just immediately after about more than 3 years ago, after I was done with alcohol, I went to stay in Nairobi with my uncle. Alikuwa ananipeleka church, Don Bosco in Upper Hill. Well, he just told me tumefika church. There's a lot of things, programs huku church. Chagua You just see where you can fit. Then there's this program came, Inito Man Enough, you know, because I want to get into, it's Catholic, I want to get into CMA, you know, and there's those constraints that sijui nifikishe age gani kwa nimeoa. You know, so I cannot get into that space of men. But the Man Enough, they take as young as, you know, over 18 to that program, and as old, it is diverse about age. So when I enter that program,
nini may happen, Buddha?
Nili realize
Tupe chai.
To be a man is easy if you know you make it possible for yourself. Tuache ile kuogopa that something can go wrong in the future if we try. All you need to do is try, and I really insist on making friends out of these two joints, you know, friends that you can maybe even go for a drive together, a hiking, do some two hobbies hapa na pale. That's when you get actually the chance to speak. Sababu mume spend a certain time. When you go
considerable time together.
Exactly. When you go to the joints, kuna makelele, everybody has their own issues. Ukianza kuongea unanyamazishwa. You get.
Alafu kila mtu ako na cosmetic life pale.
Yeah.
Anataka ku set standard.
Yeah.
And you know, in the previous episode, ka hujaona by the bado tuko MCA podcast, just subscribe ka huja watch. A previous episode, a guy called Gili told us, shida ya men hatujui kucategorize friendship. How tunaita friends wa joints ni drinking buddies. Those are not friends.
Acquaintances.
Kuna ule msee unaweza mpigia, as he was saying, kukiwa na swelling hapa. So we expect to get the same service from a drinking buddy. So we are supposed, as you're saying, let us be intentional to spend time with people, and ndio tutoe hiyo layer.
Yes.
Hiyo imetufunika ndio tuweze ku.
Yes.
Fantas, coming back to you. Still speaking to young man, and I use my experience, as I usually say, MC, it's all about us, how we have lived. When I got married at the first time, I thought, venye nilikuwa naona babangu akitritiwa in his marriage, is the same thing nakuja experience kwa my marriage. Nakaa chini pale na ngoja kuoshwa mkono na maji moto, nibrashiwe kiatu nikienda kazi. So when that didn't happen, I started cumulatively kuanza kuona, si respectiwi, si nini. You have an experience of both those times and these times. How do we as young men separate and adapt to the changes?
I think one of the things one will have to do because times have really changed. One of the things one has to do is to, what I call, install a very powerful expectation management system. EMS.
Ati expectation
management system.
Josh, to develop hiyo.
You know, this is whereby there's what you need, what you had in the head knowledge. Like now the way you are saying, you know, the way you saw the old man being treated.
Yes.
You know, I had a neighbor of mine who was being treated like that, whereby he is coming from Nairobi, and they come for him. His two wives, you gather him up at the gate, pick his luggage. You'll summon for his Panasonic radio to be from where it is being brought, to be brought, wiped up. You know, he was privileged to have a stool where everything is being placed. You know, all that.
So you mean a stool is a privilege by that time?
That time it was actually a privilege. Then you would summon them, and that one is bringing that type of meal, this one bringing this type of meal. But now you see times have really changed. For instance, you and your wife, you are in a creative space. both of you have deadlines to beat.
Oh, yes.
You have end dates to make. You have scripts to do. I mean, you have so much. So it is much easier to walk to the tap than to sit and expect that she's actually going to fetch water from the tap and bring it to you and wash you. That's what I'm calling expectation.
And you know what happens, eh? Me walking to the tap will solve a lot of things.
Yes.
Hata hiyo kukasirika yenye ningekasirika. Tukule chakula kaa tumekasirikiana because of an initiative I could have took.
Absolutely. In managing your expectation, you save yourself a lot of heartbreak. Because if you manage them, then the water is brought. Then that's a surprise. And it's better a surprise than a heartbreak. So you manage your expectation. Plus, you see, you must give each other time for growth. You know, this person where she came from, did she grow up seeing her father being treated that way?
A question to ask.
Yeah.
Because if it's you alone who lived seeing your father being treated that, you have also to ask yourself, how did she actually grow up? It has a lot to do with how she grew up, not actually how you grew up. It has nothing to do with how you grew up. It has to do with how she grew up. Because she is able to incubate that, how she grew up, and hatch out whatever results that probably you expect or not expect. You know, she is likely to completely bring just how she grew up.
Yes.
So manage your expectation. Manage your expectation. And sometimes also show forth how you want to be
Treated.
How you want to be treated. Suppose you take the water and go and wash her. I'm sure tomorrow she'll reciprocate by washing.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes just set the standard of how you really want to
Life to be.
how you want life to be.
I mean, tunakosanga kukumbuka it's all how we manage our psychological affair.
Absolutely.
Ramon, nilikuwa naona mahali mtu akisema I learned to stop concentrating on her mistakes but her improvement and areas to improve.
Yes. Very important.
Very important.
Yes.
Do we men at some point, juu tumeanza hii podcast na kusema power imeenda, tumekaliwa, tumefinywa. But at what point tunapeana hiyo grace period na kuelewana?
Well, we have to take our power back. But these women, as my experience I've seen in families that are being brought up in, unafaa tu mnacha and give her space to show you, you know, even them they have needs. Okay, so if you like discover that there's something that you're doing wrong yenye indanishi na hizi needs zake, and when you make a happy, it's called a happy wife,
A happy home.
a happy home. So you try to make her happy, but at the same time don't forget yourself.
Keyword.
Don't forget yourself, because men tunajaribu kuimpress this lady hata financially unajistrain wewe mwenyewe.
Hata emotionally.
Ade, bas. So you're not supposed to forget yourself.
Uko tu hapo wewe ndio unasemanga ma good nights. Wewe ndio every other time there is no reciprocation. Una feel drained at some point.
Yes.
Ramon, history ya ku get our power back. I want us to just maybe paint a picture to the audience. Sahi, as I asked him, vitu zimechange. Kitambo ilikuwa by force, by fire.
Yeah.
Now, he has acknowledged tuko na similar responsibilities. Then the person who you love most apparently is a devil's incarnate. Huyu ndiye ameamua kupunish life yako kabisa kabisa. What do we do? Na nataka kuuliza hii swali tena. Do we have the even guts kuambia ma boys achana na huyo dem? Huyo dem anakutesa, toka, red flag. Ama tunakuanga vumilia kimwanaume?
Sometimes as men tunaangalia the situation that we are in. Unaona? You know very well that that is a toxic relationship. Red flags are open. You know? Hata mabishti wako anakuambia you know, run. But wewe unaenda kwa nyumba, this is not their house, it's your house. You have dreams as well, you have ambitions for the family. Like I have a daughter. Lazima nimfikirie mbele in the future. If I decide to walk away from this relationship, what will be of my daughter? What will become of my daughter in the future? As you said, wives, they emulate what they saw in their families, in their father's home. Sasa wewe uko present in that home. What will become of your daughter? You know, those are the things men actually look at, alafu wanakwama.
Unakwama pale kwa toxicity.
Kwa toxicity, yeah, exactly.
Because you have said tena, also you as a man, jichunge pia, look at yourself. Here you have this quagmire. You want to be there for your daughter.
Yes.
At what expense? Wewe mwenyewe pia una lose.
Exactly.
How do you strike the balance? Kiriamiti, ndio nikuje nikuambie hiyo mahali huko, please just choose yourself.
You know, in theology, there's what they call the lesser evil. This is a principle of the lesser evil. The principle of the lesser evil is, you look at, all of them are losses. But which loss has a greater impact on your life? What is there to lose? What is there to keep? If you walked away and at some point you recover, you know, you have an opportunity to still, you know, like in the case of a daughter, you still have an opportunity to deal with or to take care of that daughter.
Sure.
Yes.
Rather than then you stick and the daughter loses this father who would have taken care of her in the future. So sometimes you got to look at what is there to lose. And if I lose it, can I get it in future? If I lose it, do I lose it permanently? Both are losses. But one seems to have lesser evil in terms of what you are losing than the other one.
True.
Sometimes you really don't have to stay.
Yes, that's the truth.
Sometimes you really, really don't have to stay. One of the African principles of warfare is that a man must live to fight another day.
Yes.
So you can walk away, but still, because sometimes you find when these children grow, they become completely oblivious of these other battles, and they take signs. And guess what? They just take signs to the person who walked away. And when you explain to them nicely, like what really transpired, because now they have now a mind that can naturally understand.
Yes.
You find you would have been embroiled in a battle where you would have lost 3 people. And because the ones you have lost, I mean, you may not lose your life, but you lose your reputation. You know, that's a bad thing to lose. So you walk away, you keep your reputation, you also keep your life. But with the time, I mean, you find things just take place.
And I mean, even losing your life, other than getting out of this earth, There are some people who are living in homes and they are just walking dead. There is no soul. You and your kids is always warfare. I'll give you an example. Pale kwetu kuna vijana wawili waliekelea baba yao juu ya chumba ya kuku. Because every other day mama yao akikuwa na issue na their dad, they used to fight the dad. The reason being, si unajua kutoka ukiwa teenager, hata puberty, you spend most of the time with your mother. So kuna utu statements they usually make. Babako, unaona aliingia jana, akafanya. So it grows in you. Ilifika mahali, wakanyorosha huyo mzee. Until, nani watu wakubwa, until huyo mzee akaenda kutafuta shamba ingine na kujenga. But he didn't have money. Guess what he did? Aka auction ile shamba wa vijana wamejenga. Huko ni kwake.
Wow.
So later on ama boys wamekuja kurealize issues za baba yao na mama yake was not really their business. Ama the way they handled it. So unaweza ishi kwa hiyo family as a corpse. Juu mzee angeendelea kuishi huko. Those kids could have not learned. Angeishi kuwa ni kama he is a nobody.
This one you called manning the house.
Manning the house. Huko tu hapo area tu unapiganga raundi. Una bibi akifeel vizuri anauza mogoka kwa shamba alafu anakupiga so mbili. But hiyo mogoka ni wewe unalimia, ni wewe unapanda, ni wewe unafanya nini? Unampea pesa ya kwenda chama, ikiaccumulate anabuy tank ya maji. But atakuwa akiambia watoto ile tank nilinunua.
Yes.
Zile viti za nyumba nilinunua. How do they view you? You are just a lost man, by the way.
Kweli.
Jogwa village, that's the same story itatembea. Haununuangi.
But then Vincent, I think one of the ways, because we've to offer a solution. You know, like how you don't become that the manning the house.
Manning the house.
One of the problems you have faced is over-derogation.
Oh, yes.
The man has really over-delegated most of these things. Remember when I told you about
the school meetings, yeah.
Remember what I told you about
even church gatherings.
The church gatherings and
Ata nyumba kumi.
The selling of those crops. I told you it's not necessarily about being oppressed. It is just somebody saying, you go. Even other women are going, you just go like the other women. And so how do we actually get out of it?
Hataki hata kufungua account ya sako, wewe enda usave.
One of the things actually, and somebody told me this like a joke, but I've seen it really work. I'm the one who is paying school fees. I'm paying school fees. And then I have to send this money to the mother of the children to pay. So when she goes to pay, or when she gives out the slip, what the children understand?
Mama metulipia school fees.
So what do you do? What you do is you call a press conference over the phone. You tell them, hey, look, guys, I have given your mother money to pay for your school trip.
Wakenya wenzangu.
I mean, let them know that some of these things, you are actually the one who is doing them.
Yeah. Or you are part of.
You are part of it. Because basically, naturally speaking, as human beings always speak in first person singular.
I,
me.
I,
so
me.
even when they mean well, the way that will be perceived by the children is that actually they're the ones who are doing. So you say, guys, I've bought token for electricity. You know, get the token machine and put. So Daddy has done that. Because sometimes we have toiled so hard to provide for the family, and even delegated our fatherhood, such that people know that their mother is the one who provides. But at the backdrop, it's actually the father who is providing. Only that he has delegated. And then, just for the few women who will watch this podcast also, let the men be.
Allow them
to be
the man.
Let them go to the supermarket, let them buy the wrong cooking oil.
Na isikue World War 3 kwa nyumba.
Let it not become an issue. Let them just be. Let them just be. And you know, you cover your man, you are safe.
Yes.
I mean, if you know your man is broke and doesn't have fare, and you are using the same matatu, pass the money to him, let him pay.
Yes.
I mean, when you build that confidence in him, you have a man to keep.
And the home will be safer.
And that will be safe. And then I think lastly, for the men, when you get married, like, you know, my bro here is a young father. When you get married, always put this in mind. That one, you are not only the husband of your wife, but in many instances, you're also the father of that wife.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes. Because before the children come,
you have to live with her.
You have to father this other person. Because again, we are living in days when people are coming from setups where probably they have not experienced the father.
The fatherhood, yeah.
And therefore the expectation you have to see the father being treated properly, they didn't see it at all.
They have not seen it at all.
They have never seen it.
But mimi hapa ninangoja ni.
So, you have to be the father they never saw.
Yeah.
And also the father of their children.
Yeah.
That way, you'll have less trouble. Because there are some things she is going to do, and you don't deal with her like a husband. You will deal with her as a father. Not that she is a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you are the authority. You are the covering. Because the work of a father is not just the authority, but also the covering. You are giving her that safety.
Yes.
You know, she'll do something and say, how comes he did not condemn me? Now, that's a father.
Yeah.
So when we do that, then, when we double as a father and a husband,
Success.
then we will now become that man, that man in the house.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Become that man.
Critical advice.
Yes.
As we wind up, Ramon, pia
Yeah.
kuna point hapa imetoka ya we have delegated too much. I feel like we also delegate being a husband. Yes. Kuna kitambo venye watu walikuwa wanafanya, bibi akipata mimba unamtuma kwa mother-in-law. So you are not with her through that process.
Yes.
Mkikula sapa jioni, you are not there. Si kazi imekufunga, ni vitu unnecessary. So huyu mtu unampea a lot of opportunity kupata attention from
ends.
From elsewhere.
Yes.
Bro, unajua sisi hatujaachana sana. Hiyo ku delegate husband roles, not even fatherhood.
Yes.
The husband duties. Na ndio kuna jokes sahi na trend unagongewa na si mayai.
Imagine. It is quite a problem. I let it happen in my house. It is a mistake I live by every day. You delegate your husbandhood. It is true because, well, I used to let my fiance, like alikuwa na seek control from elsewhere, from outside, from maybe her parents or mine, or friends, because hao ndo wanampatia the ear about the issues in the house. She has no time to talk to me because I'm not there. I'm not present to be talked to. Sometimes I might be busy, too busy for my family because of chasing dreams. Unaona, so it is true, hana ule mtu wa she doesn't have that man. Uyo man ni wa ku pay bills only. Other issues are not available. So it is quite a problem because when I let that happen, it will trickle down to other issues of, lack of respect because hakuoni kama unaweza add value. You get? Things go wrong and eventually I lost. And coming to think of it, women might blame the women for our mishappenings or our divorce,
Yep.
Jiangalie.
Oh, yes.
What role?
Have you played?
Yes.
I keep on insisting in this podcast, self-evaluation is very important. Because ni rahisi sana kupoint fingers.
Yes.
Without necessarily looking at the role that you have played.
Yes.
And as you're saying, Pia, you should be a father. Kiremiti, I won't let you go on the same point. You're delegating our husbandhood. It's a common trend now for the modern man. Your wife as an office husband. Kwa sababu the attention is only in the office. Wewe ndume juu unalipanga nyumba na unalipa school fees, utakanyagaga huko saa 5 ya usiku. Akisema ako na rurasho ya beshte yake, wewe unampea tu fare aende ama pesa ya taxi.
If smoke is moving, like I don't know that the osmosis or diffusion, which moves from places of high concentration to low concentration, simply because that place is accommodative and basically it has low pressure. So they are just moving from where they're having much pressure to a place where they have low pressure. So it's actually a risk if your wife, for example, is going to feel more comfortable in the office than at home. Because home, the simple description of home is where we take our heartaches after all is said and done. If you can't rest your heartaches at home, then it is not home. It's just an accommodation. So it's bad whereby if my wife is getting attention from the workplace than from me. Na saa hizo najikaza hivyo there's need to think about what is it in a man a woman wants and vice versa. Because sometimes we are chasing the wrong thing.
Yes.
Tunafikiri tu madhi anataka, mama anataka tu. Kumbe tu anakutaka wewe. Tu akifika tu pale when that woman reaches kwa home, akifika pale office for example, anaulizwa weekend yako ilikuwaje? How many hours it last night? Anakuuliza even about your husband. Like how is your husband? If this happens for a few times, this person will definitely have a soft spot.
Yes, gentlemen. Today mambo imekuwa serious. Mambo imekuwa serious kabisa. And I want us to close the episode because tumekuwa na a lot to digest. We want to remind you to kindly follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, na pia subscribe YouTube tafadhali. Sababu as we continue with this discussion, kama umenotice tulianza na you like the society has done this, until we came back to ourselves, like what have we contributed na tumefanya nini ku make mwanaume not man in the house, he is just manning the house. Gentlemen, it's been really an honor and a pleasure. Nimeweza kureflect mbaya sana. Mimi usema hata hii ni therapy kwangu. Sio tu kwa the audience ama pia kwangu I get an opportunity to talk. So what we can agree ni to make spaces more hospitable for men.
Yes.
Very, 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 very important. Na pia tujifanye evaluation sisi wenyewe.
Yes.
Man, let the man talk. It has been nice with our guest, one and only music teacher and composer and sound engineer, He is also a brother to me and a person I look up to. When things go haywire, I try at least seeking advice from him. Mr. Kiriamiti, asante sana kwa kukuja.
It's been a pleasure.
Na
Anytime.
kusema let the man talk.
Let the man talk.
Yes, and this other man who has had the opportunity to talk.
Yes.
A great artist, a great musician. Na by the way, you used to do public relation or something. Nilikuonanga sometimes hapo nyuma.
Oh yes.
So he is not just an artist. Kwa sababu wa Kenya tuko na tabia mbaya. Other than music, what else do you do? Juu inakaa nikaa kukua musician ni kitu mbaya ama wewe ni weak. So asante sana man, and we continue with this conversation. Please watch his music at tuambie mahali music yako iko ama vile unaweza kupatikana.
Oh yes, you can find me on all platforms, especially YouTube. It is Ramon Dikoko.
Hebu tuspelie Ramon Dikoko. Tulikuwa event ya KFCB. Mahali tumekaa watu wanasema ati what?
Ati what? Yes.
Kuona spell.
Ramon is R-A-M-O-N. Dikoko is D''K-O-K-O on all social media platforms. Ni Google ukitaka.
Yeah. Hiyo ndio apostrophe. Wewe uko na apostrophe?
No.
Tukupate wapi kama tunataka?
I just work with the people, you know. I love just working with people. I'm a bit shy on social spaces, but I love just working with people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And actually, take a lot of appreciation from us to your church. Is it Fountain
Gate Church?
Fountain Gate Church.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, sijaiona watu wanapendo wanashikilia mtu kaa watu. Yes. Take our appreciation.
All right.
Exactly. They are just amazing
I think
people.
when we have a man's program, then I'll get to invite you.
Please do.
So you can also see what we are doing. I believe on the 10th of October we have a men outing or something of the sort. But I'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
At least you can see what we are trying to do. By the way, one of the things we do in our church, Holy Communion is served by men only.
Oh.
Like men only.
Wow.
The sisters set the tables, but the men serve
the. They are just amazing people. I felt the love when they were here. Mimi naitwa Vincent Moremi Boy on all social media platforms, na hii podcast tunajiita MCA podcast. Hivyo tu MCA. Until next time, let the man